I think it's his only Academy Award nomination. Really an unbelievable movie. So we're excited about Tarek in town, in studio at 11:08.
I am so excited for this conversation because you
just like the movie because
alert,
of how steamy it was at times.
It's not really steamy at all. And by today's standards, at all.
It's kind of steamy.
I didn't think
There was some
subtle,
passionate moments. Yes.
Yeah, but nothing. That was the great power. It was good movie telling. It left a lot to the imagination. It was just.
You were texting me last night. Be honest. Boy, that was steamy. Come on.
Yeah, because
Don't be so innocent to the audience. All right. I have to expose you.
Oh my gosh, this is such fake news. First of all, yes, that's sure. That was what I would be texting somebody else in the first place. I really did love it though. I mean, we can say, spoiler alert, it stands the test of time, probably even more than any other movie we've watched.
Now, did they ask her to be in Top Gun 2, Kelly McGillis?
I don't know.
Because it seems like they brought back a lot. Yeah.
I don't believe they asked her to come back.
Yeah.
I think that was something I remember reading at the time.
Boy, her eyes, she was just great on camera. You just couldn't help but really just be mesmerized by her.
Yes, yes. I remember trying to cut my hair exactly like her in Top Gun.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly McGillis, because I just thought she was so great. And I did not pull it off. It was a considerably less attractive look on me than it was her per usual. But, that's just to say that I guess imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah. You know what else she was great in was The Accused. Remember that?
Yes.
With Jodie Foster?
Yes. Oh, that was a powerful, powerful movie as well. Really good. I'd forgotten about that as well. What you been doing for the last 24 hours?
Well, this morning I had to drop Monique at the airport painfully early because she has to go take care of her mother. And I was thinking that I can't get a dog because she'd call Brown and Crouppen while she's gone, and I don't need a car. But I am in need of a TV, so I want to keep the streak alive. Every time she goes somewhere, I make a purchase that she probably wouldn't approve of.
Are you going to go all out with it, get something really nice, or are you going to just get something in line with...
Are you a TV guy? Do you know
I know
TV?
a little bit about
Right,
the TVs.
We may chat.
Yeah.
Boy, it's
Didn't
great.
you once get a giant TV put in while she was gone and had a neighbor come look at it and say, do you think this is going to fly with Monique? And she said no?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so I had to take that back and then got what's the TV? I should know this. I look at it every day. It's a picture, the beautiful pictures. Like you could look at, you may be looking at Rome.
The frame TV, I think is what they call it.
It's called the frame. I don't know, but it's amazing. So when she came in, she saw it, and for a split second, she thought I had bought some artwork. I mean, you really do. You think it's like artwork, and then all of a sudden, boom, you hit it, and it's a TV.
Yeah, my kids have one. We've been waiting for the one that we're just not so crazy about in our main living space to die, so we'll replace it with something else as well. Where is this new potential TV going to live at your house?
Well, in the kitchen area, but we have the two TVs because one's for games and one's for regular TV, and so the one for games is really having some issues right now, so.
And are you going to try to go bigger on that one, or is there some symmetry that's needed between the two?
Yeah, I have to abide by the space I have.
So there's a scale. There's a scale limitation, but you really do you want to go up in quality so you can see?
Oh, definitely, yes. And another thing is as soon as she left, so I'm thinking TVs, and then I went to play golf at 5:30 as soon as I dropped her off, and then I went to our refrigerator and pulled out some steaks and everything. It's just going to be steak and golf and Corona lights. I mean, I'm really going to miss her, but there's some advantages.
You got to buy the cheese by the block next, and then
That's
you'll
right.
be
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be done.
Although Connor and I now, in going on 9-10 months of the Frank and Jill show together, we've heard this too many times when Monique has to leave town to help care for her mom or for something else. There's a lot of excitement right when she goes, and then get a little mopey, get a little lonely, decide it isn't so great after all. Despite all the talk right now, we've just seen the pattern, so we're going to call it out.
We'll see. All right, what's going on in your life the last 24 hours?
Well, speaking of which, John's been traveling for 24 hours on business. He gets back this evening, and I am very glad to have him come back, not just because he has cat and dog duty in the mornings that makes the morning a little crazier, but also about one night's my limit for being alone in the house as well. But I did make a really, really good zucchini pie for dinner.
Oh,
and so,
that sounds good.
Yeah,
What do you do? What do you do to it?
It's just kind of like basically a frittata or a flourless
that.
quiche. But I do love zucchini season. I love tomato season. The fruit right now, I mean, my mouth was watering when I was at the grocery store yesterday. The peaches are perfect. The plums are in.
Watermelons are even good right now.
It should be. This is, getting to be time of year. Tomatoes are really looking good. And I love fruit in general, but I love Bing cherries. I could probably eat an entire bag of those at once. And so I'm trying to limit myself, but it's a fun time of year for those really peak season of some of those delicious summer fruits. Michigan guy, are you somebody who loves Bing cherries? They're famous in Washington State and Michigan for growing.
When I was up there, we passed through the cherry festival, so they're big on cherries up there. I could take them or leave them.
Blueberries, those are also big in
yeah,
Michigan.
Those are good. I like blueberries.
And then I do need a follow-up question for you because our mutual friend Max Foisey did a little getaway to Michigan. You and I are both huge fans of vacationing in Michigan. It didn't trip his trigger the same way it does us. I was mildly offended. How about you?
I think he acted very very snooty about the lake, and that set me off negatively. He said he was an ocean guy, and it didn't compare to the ocean. So I don't know.
I know. Mr. Florida was really hating on the Midwest.
On my bad side now.
I feel guilty now. I said all that about Monique being gone, and then she just texted me, "Please pray for me." Boy, I am a rotten human being.
Hey, you said it. We did
That's
not.
right.
No, you're not a rotten human being, but you do miss your wife more than you pretend you do, for sure.
How about the Mackinac peaches? Did anybody ever had those?
Oh, of course, yeah. All of those stone fruits that come from Michigan are just out of this world.
Tomatoes and watermelon are great at Kirkwood Market.
Okay,
yeah,
good
that
to
sounds
know.
good. That Kirkwood Market's really good.
Oh, and you're getting some really detailed TV advice here on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line for sure. Love hearing from you guys. 84126. Please join the show.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll have the opening dialogue.
Electricity is very important because if you don't have electricity, you're sitting in the dark in more ways than one. And when the lights go out for one last time, maybe, just maybe, you want a whole home generator. Well, that's where Michael Baldy comes in because Michael Baldy can do that. He's putting in a whole home generator for a friend of mine on the Hill. Whether you live on the Hill or a brand new home, at some point you're going to need some electrical help, and that's where Michael Baldy comes in. He's been an electrician since 1996, and he has a full team of electricians who will help you every single step of the way, whether it's a whole home generator, maybe some extra plugs for the Christmas lights, maybe it's something in the basement, something in the attic, maybe the garage. Doesn't matter. Whether it's an old Victorian home or a brand new commercial building, indoor or out, Michael Baldy, the electrician, has got to be on your phone. Put him on your speed dial, 314-968-9999, 314-968-9999. You can thank me later. Michael Baldy, BaldyElectric.com. How do you separate estate planning from elder law? You don't, because they're so intertwined. Let's face it, we're all getting older, and you need to make these decisions today, whether it's for your parents, for yourself, or for future generations. Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, and Carolyn Stolzer have been navigating these important decisions for more than 50 years. Beck, Lennox, Stolzer, Estate Planning, and Elder Law. Call them, 636-946-7899 or BeckElderLaw.com. You can thank me later.
When it comes to mortgage lenders, I know you have no shortage of options. But are you working with someone local who can truly simplify the process? I'm David Goldberg with the Goldberg Group. And as a St. Louis home purchase expert, I know this market inside and out. I specialize in tough-to-complete situations for borrowers who are self-employed, looking to buy and sell at the same time, and may have been turned down somewhere else. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or seasoned homeowner, you can trust me with all of your home financing needs. Call or text me at 314-471-4030. 314-471-4030.
Hi, Matt Kearns, president of St. Lou Fringe. Our festival is St. Louis's stage for new works. Grab a festival pass and meet me August 11th through 17th at STL Fringe Fest 25 for comedies like The Hot Folder by St. Louis native Jeremy Pinson, See what happens when Jeremy's high school classmates find his quote-unquote hot folder on his desktop and how he navigates the ups and downs of high school after all of its contents are exposed. This show is hilarious. Grab passes and tickets for STL Fringe Fest today, and I'll see you at the Fringe, stlfringe.org.
It's summertime in St. Louis, and the Big 550 is ready to go.
Keeping you company to share a laugh and make some summer memories.
Thank you for taking the Big 550 with you wherever you go.
Download the mobile app, stream online, and watch us live on our KTRS YouTube channel.
Live, local, homegrown. We are the Big 550 KTRS.
Depend on it.
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 Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS. Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, thought one. I've always wondered why, if you are a business, why do you want to get political? The Michael Jordan line, Republicans buy sneakers too. Or the NFL allowing the kneeling at football games. If I owned a Walmart, I wouldn't want my employees wearing a Make America Great hat. If I owned a McDonald's, I would not want my employees wearing a pro-abortion shirt. Why tick off half the country when you don't have to? So we have late night talk shows. They've gone that route for years now. They didn't used to. Jay Leno, who consistently beat David Letterman, had these thoughts about the host getting too political late night. Strong political commentary can work in some situations, like it works extremely well for Rachel Maddow or for Sean Hannity, because the other half is not watching anyway for the most part, and they are a political talk show. Have political humor, but poke fun at each side, like Carson did, like Leno did. Even Letterman, who's now really far to the left, he went at both sides. I think Leno is right. Besides, it's late at night. And you normally turn on those shows to kind of laugh and not to be lectured. So the question is, what do you think of Jay Leno's take? 84126 on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line.
No doubt people are going to have some interesting and thoughtful things to say, because they often do on our text line. We have a wise group of listeners out there. Let's take it back to something local here. My first thought today, you and I have both talked about in the past that we're fans of the Plaza Frontenac Theater. Just something about the vibe of it, little bit retro. Yeah. I remember going there a long time ago, probably in my 20s, and I felt so sophisticated because I'd never been to a movie theater where you could order a glass of wine while you went in to enjoy a movie. They had some blockbusters in there, but often a little bit more of an art house theme or things that were off the beaten path, but a lot of the Oscar award winners there as well. Well, Business Journal is reporting it is not only has the rumors that it was not going to be a movie theater anymore true, definitely now the signs are there that there's going to be an Abercrombie and Fitch, of all things, that are going to go in there, and really? Talbot's, which is already in another part of the mall, is going to be moving there. So it's going to not only not be a movie theater anymore, but it's going to be the location for not one but two retailers. I'm happy for any mall that's doing as well as Plaza Frontenac is, and if you can attract retailers in there, that's great. And I am a little sad that there's not going to be the Landmark Theater after it closed. There's not going to be a replacement for that, and we will not have a theater in Plaza Frontenac anymore, at least according to the current plans.
And for some reason, I don't know if it was true, but it just seemed like the popcorn tasted better too.
Yeah, although the last time I went there, when the wheels were starting to fall off the bus a little bit, we went up and said, we'll have some popcorn. And they said, okay, this is your option. And they pulled out like a bag from the grocery store of the Skinny Pop. and said
Yeah.
that'll be $8.99. And I said, oh, no thanks. That's not what I was looking for in my experience here at the movie theater.
All right, thought two. So the two hottest sports topics in St. Louis are who plays quarterback at Mizzou and what will the Cardinals do at the deadline. Let's tackle the latter because it's coming up 5 o'clock Central Time Thursday. I was in the clubhouse yesterday. Wilson Contreras says, I'm staying, and he can do that because he has a no-trade clause. And likewise for Sonny Gray, who I think does not want to leave either. I wonder why. I mean, if they said trade me, they could probably spend the next few months in a thrilling pennant race, maybe make the playoffs, maybe win a World Series, and they get paid the same. I guess it's admirable they want to stay. And if you're in your mid-30s and you're married and you have kids, living with them in St. Louis for the rest of the summer seems like a better idea than going to a hotel and being a rent-a-player for the remainder of the season. So the three who will likely be moved are Helsley, Maton, and Matz. And I've been saying, could they just get one outfielder who could hit in return? Just one. Every team needs a player like that. Cardinals don't have one. But you look at the organization and you look at these young arms who once had great promise. Well, they're all either hurt or disappointing. Quinn Matthews, Tink Hentz, Tekoa Roby, Zach Thompson, Drew Rom, Connor Jerpy, Sam Robers. So maybe a starting pitcher who doesn't have surgery planned the next week would be a nice option also. Hate to say it, and I know things change quickly, but if you have ownership who doesn't want to win bidding wars to get star players, and they don't, and you have a team or a franchise that lacks good young pitching and dynamic offensive players, I think this malaise, I hate to say it, hope I'm wrong, is not going to be ending just at the end of this season.
Okay, so can I just follow up so I have a better understanding, because I know really the whole trade aspect of things is definitely above my ability to understand. But beginning of the season, you said the investment didn't appear to be there. You didn't have a lot of hope, and it was disappointing. Early, let's say first third of the season, exceeded expectations, and then maybe you were giving some credence to the idea that there was some strategy behind developing young players, even though it didn't look like it from the outside, that they were investing in some big names or from lack of a better term, or hot shots, but that these guys were going to develop into being a strong players. Now it looks like there wasn't enough potential there in the first place. They've disappointed, and they're not going to invest enough to improve.
Yeah, they wanted to find out about two players in particular, Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman, and we still know nothing about them, if they're going to be good or not. So it's that part hasn't worked out because you wanted to get real clarity on whether you can move forward with those two, and because of injuries and ineffectiveness and erratic playing time with the two of them, you still don't know. So.
And did we underinvest greatly in pitchers, which I would think is one of the biggest things you need to focus on?
Well, we have a bunch of young pitchers that had some promise, but for a variety of reasons, injury and being ineffective, it just hasn't worked out. So that's why I'm thinking this little funk we're in, maybe it's not ending again this offseason.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. It's super common when I wear my hat as an executive time and stress management coach outside of my work here at the radio station. I work with everybody from physicians, lawyers, corporate leaders, and I hear, if not every day, many times a week, the expression of frustration with Gen Z employees. Gen Z has proven themselves really not afraid to change jobs more frequently than just about any other generation. They often feel entitled and call out the need for more work-life balance. Their Gen X parents and Boomer parents, and compared to their Gen X parents and their Boomer parents, not only do they have better work-life balance, but they often prefer things like digital communication to face-to-face. And there's been a big push, including in an article that I thought was really excellent in the Wall Street Journal, for people of our generations to just stop complaining about Gen Z workers and start helping them. So the whole idea is we all have to forget this kids today attitude and start looking at what are the ways that we can learn from what they're doing and actually mentor and make everything better. Here's a couple of just great ideas that were listed. Approach with empathy, which is always to start with, tell me why you think this way and help me know whether I should learn from it or whether we can respect each other's contrasting views. unlocking technology skills. You're very good at this. I try to be
You being
as well.
sarcastic?
No, you say somebody else has better technology skills than
yeah.
me in that generation, so I'm going to let them help me out with something that I'm trying to do technologically that's more challenging.
That's more out of necessity, but yes, I agree.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, the collateral benefit of being bad at technology and letting the younger generation help us is it's a chance for us to mutually mentor. And then creating a more formal development plan. That's one of the things that often Gen Zers lack, is the idea they're more better on their toes and better at pivoting and not just staying in a position because they're not sure what else to do. But sometimes they lack the ability to have a really formalized, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? What do you think is going to happen? And that's a great way where you can mentor as well.
Yeah.
Do you hear a lot of people, like in the newsroom, since I'm not in a traditional newsroom anymore, I don't hear that, but do you hear people complaining about the younger generation? Do you feel that generation gap in the workplace?
Yes. And that, but you know what? One of the biggest common criticisms of the younger people in our newsroom, boy, they think they can get this done. They've only been here for 6 minutes, and they expect to move up this rank and get this contract and make this money and have this schedule. Boy, kids today. But how is that any different than you and I? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I was demanding all that stuff. I didn't get it, but yeah.
Yeah, I probably should have been. I was just like, yes, thank you so much. I'm so lucky to be here. So yeah, you were more savvy on that front as well.
It is unbelievable, the newsroom. I mean, most of them are all my kids' ages. You know, they are. All right, thought 3, a couple quick ones here. Yelp has come out with a ranking of the best sandwich shops in the country, and Blue City Deli checks in at number 8. The New Orleans Po' Boys, the Muffaladas, the smoked pastrami's, crazy good. Think of how many sandwich shops there are in America, and they are 8th according to Yelp. That is crazy. In a related story, with the addition of Steve Savard and Randy Carricker to KTRS, I am now the 5th best sportscaster at KTRS, with Rammer and Brendan also ahead. Okay, so there's an editorial in the LA Times which was reprinted in the Post-Dispatch. The headline, actually, the Coldplay fiasco conveys a healthy message. Now, will it suddenly stop infidelity in marriages all over America? Doubt that. But the outrage, at least part of it, shows that we in society still have a robust respect for the institution of marriage. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I've read that op-ed as well. And I think one of the other points that I've seen in other conversations like it is the brashness of these two to make whatever decisions they made as adults that many people would find morally reprehensible or not agree with, but they're adults, whatever. But to go to a public place like that and then be so upset that they were being very disrespectful at best to their significant other and spouse, to just be out in a public place showing affection toward each other. I mean, who knows? Like, what if one of their kids' friends was there or whatever else? It just was the whole public aspect of it, and being exposed publicly, I think, was telling.
I wonder what happens that night. Like, does he go home? Because I'm sure the wife I wonder if she knew that night. I mean, what happens? Does he actually go to the bed, read a little bit and wake up the next morning? Or I'd love to know exactly what happened.
We probably never will. But the other thing we haven't talked about yet here, but it's been talked about a lot, is that Astronomer, the company that the CEO was formerly employed by, brought in Gwyneth Paltrow to be a spokesperson for them in a tongue-in-cheek way. Of course, she's Chris Martin's ex. And it was, did you see it, Connor?
I did not.
It's really funny.
Okay.
And she says, one of the silver linings of this is so many of you are now interested in, and she names this really technological, workflow advancement stuff that this company does that the rest of the world had never heard of. And
I guess you got to spin it,
Yeah, it's clever. If you haven't seen it yet, it is worth a Google, because it's taking from a PR perspective, it's turning lemons into lemonade for sure. Thought 3 for me, when we had Rhonda Nabrigi on our show a few months ago, of course, the director of the St. Louis airport, she talked about how important it is for St. Louis to update our aging airport to improve the functionality. no secret to anybody who travels in
Yes.
Terminal 2, where more than 60% of the flights go in and out of at Lambert. It's overcrowded. And any of us, we've talked about it before, wait for an hour or more when we are landing to get our luggage from that overstuffed luggage carousels in Terminal 2. We know we need to nab more. But I thought it was very interesting. The St. Louis Business Journal did some research over a year ago, reaching out to business leaders and executives around the country to tell us how they perceived St. Louis. And our aging and lackluster airport seemed to be a factor, because if somebody's time spent in St. Louis was coming in on our airport, that kept some people, leaders from other city, considering us a top-tier city. A recent ranking of the top airports in the country, of course, St. Louis was nowhere on the list. Portland was number one. Detroit, Minneapolis, brand new gorgeous airports made the list as well. I have talked to many people in St. Louis that don't think that the billions of dollars it could cost to do a full-scale revamp are worth it when compared to other needs in our region. Do you, Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126, do you think our airport is good enough and we should just make a few changes but not worth a full revamp? We have bigger fish to fry, or do you think it is going to impact us and continue to impact us in terms of the way that we compare to other peer cities from a business perspective of being able to attract and retain business? I would love to hear your thoughts.
So
what are your thoughts?
Facelift or complete redo?
Yeah, I mean the redo is in the works, and we lost a little bit of state funding in the Governor Kehoe budget cuts, but some of that money has been found again. I think
I should
I'm
say
on
nip and tuck or facelift.
Yeah, I think we have to do a complete revamp, because we look like, when I go to smaller cities, even in places like, I'm talking like Des Moines and Wichita, the functionality of the airport and the aesthetics of it are so much better than ours. It's just not a good look for our city.
The baggage carousel, that's just, especially at Southwest, that's unbelievable.
Right, but that's really more of a functionality thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that the way that you feel in an airport when you come out and it looks brand new and really has that feel of a kind of 21st century city, that impacts what you think about the city or what it might impact business leaders?
I think it does, yeah. I just don't know, but the key question is, if you only have so much money, can it be spent in other ways of helping the city? What's more important, that or the airport? So it's a tough call. It's a good topic.
Yeah, and maybe that's too much of a zero-sum game. Maybe it has to be a both and we can't think of it so much as we have to do one or the other. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line. Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Advisor and Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor, Capital Advisory Group, is going to be popping in for an interview with us tomorrow. Some interesting things to say about tariffs, for instance, how that might affect consumer prices, how it's changed drastically from the early part of the year and how it's impacting the market. It's going to be a conversation that you will really enjoy. If you're more interested in just what's happening in your accounts and whether or not you are headed toward having a retirement that with a nest egg that you can live on for the long haul, or if changes in tax laws are going to change the way that you need to think about your retirement strategy, if you're just a year or 2 or 5 years away from that, Jeff's the person to talk to. He's got a great team at Capital Advisory Group that will look specifically and strategically at your stuff and make sure that you have the best plan possible as you move into what will hopefully be some of the best years of your life in a great season of your life. CapitalAdvisoryGRP.com, 636-394-5524.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
One more day of stout heat and humidity, and then this heat wave is over. It is about time. We're going to warm up quickly through the midday and afternoon. 95, my forecast high. Heat index between 100 and 105. And then some rapid-fire changes. Here comes a cold front mid to late afternoon into tonight. Let's be ready for scattered storms, and some of them could be heavy, maybe even some strong winds in spots. But, boy, it results in much cooler weather tomorrow. Now, Thursday's still a little muggy, considerable cloudiness, some rain still around, but the rain chances drop through the day on Thursday, so that Friday into the weekend, oh my goodness, just beautiful. Mostly sunny, the humidity much lower, and highs much easier to take, close to 80. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Bill Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at John Bill Roofing.
It's Julie Buck here to tell you that the patio is open at Bishop's Post right next to Chesterfield Mall. Get your reservations in now and go to Bishop's Post. You will love it. Tell them Julie Buck sent you, bishopspost.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a Banner Day.
August 4th through the 10th, shop and dine in Maplewood, and you'll be giving back to the community. A portion of your spending will go directly to area nonprofit organizations. Don't miss out, mark your calendar, and join the Maplewood community of makers in giving back. Let's make a difference together. For more information, visit maplewoodmo.gov/fun. That's maplewoodmo.gov/fun.
When you pay for tree work, you want to be sure you're getting the most for your hard-earned money. That's why you should always use the ISA certified arborist at River City Tree Service in Baldwin, Missouri. Hi, I'm Steve with River City Tree Service, and we've been the go-to tree service since 2008. Tree removal, tree trimming, storm damage, deadwood removal, stump grinding, and more. Give River City Tree Service a call for all your tree service needs at 314-270-8071. That's 314-270-8071. River City Tree Service.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show, hour number one. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, Connor McCarthy here as well. And it is Wednesday, which means we get to talk about some hot topics going on in St. Louis with Sarah Fenske, executive editor of St. Louis Magazine and the St. Louis Daily newsletter. Happy birthday, 1-year birthday for the newsletter, by the way, Sarah.
Thank you. It's nice to be going back to 1-year-old birthdays rather than what I'm actually celebrating.
For sure. Lots happening in the news for sure that you guys have, we're talking about this morning. But I want to talk about something that I loved. You took what I would describe as a hot take on that was in the news actually a little while ago, which is that there was I believe, a consultant report coming in and saying that with the St. Louis City Schools, we don't need to just think about what we're going to do with one or two buildings. We're talking about dozens of buildings and consolidation that needs to happen. And a lot of people, probably myself included, clutched our pearls a bit when we saw that. And we're like, oh, with the tornado and it's too much going on and they're in crisis because of so many other reasons. And I heard you say, you know what, we are going to have to bite the bullet here and actually do something drastic or we're headed toward a crisis. What's your perspective?
Yeah, I think probably you were watching this on Donnybrook, and it's unfortunate to have to be the bad guy on that show, but somebody has to do it. And we all feel terrible for families that have invested in St. Louis, and then they see their neighborhood school closing. Like that's a nightmare. But it has to be done. If they don't right size this district, things are going to get worse and worse. And I don't use this phrase lightly, but the phrase would be death spiral. Like you can't continue to maintain this many buildings with a district this size. You end up spending all your time on the physical campus and not even doing a good job at that. and you end up with schools that aren't the right size that they should be for students to thrive. You need more administrators because you have separate buildings. It throws the entire budget out of whack. Hard choices have to be made. And my colleagues on Donnybrook were saying, well, if these schools pull out, these kids are going to have to be bused 40 minutes across town. I don't think that's true at all. I think this city is not an unusually large city when you talk about its physical footprint, and we have also seen so many different charter school options enter the space. I think you'll see if there's a neighborhood that has a critical mass of kids that gets left behind, you will see a charter school open in that space. And if history is any guide, there's a chance for a charter school to do really great work. So I don't think we should say that this is going to be the death of neighborhoods if these neighborhood schools close. I think this could be the only way to lead the school district to a better place.
Sarah, another topic. How close is Sam Page to being the next Steve Stenger?
Oh, I don't think close at all. This investigation, at worst, what happened here is that he spent money on what he felt was a public education campaign. And there's a lot of gray area in the law of what's a public education campaign and what is actually advocating for one issue or another. I don't know where this one is going to fall. I don't know if he crossed the line. Even if he crossed the line, this is nothing like what Steve Stenger did. We're not talking about pay to play. We're not talking about heavy corruption. We're talking about somebody who put $300,000, was it, into a mailer that was designed to advocate or inform about a particular election item. Nobody got rich off this. This to me is so small potatoes. Only in the state of Missouri would this be a giant scandal.
But of course, county council, being the rather dysfunctional family that it is, members are coming out and saying, "Now we told you not to do this, and you did it anyway." Do you think it's just another indication of that dysfunctionality, or is this a nothing sandwich?
Yeah, I think they kind of tell him not to do anything. And in some cases, they're right. I've taken their side on a lot of things. I don't think Sam Page is a hero and the council is bad. But if they want to say, I told you so, they're perpetually at loggerheads. So, he made a judgment call on this issue. It may have been the wrong judgment call. But the idea that this is criminal seems crazy to me. I know Attorney General Andrew Bailey loves headlines, and he knows there's a lot of people who hate Sam Page. But unless somebody can show me a lot more than a mailer of this size that was in this, again, legal gray area, to even compare this to, to even call this a scandal is laughable. Did he break the law, though? Again, it's this legal gray area. You talk to 3 different lawyers, you're going to get 3 different answers. He could have. Yeah. That's possible.
And I agree with you that it won't be quite as scandalous as what happened with Stenger, but the amount of opposition against him and him breaking the law, it may end up as a similar result as Stenger, but I agree with you. It's not quite as scandalous. Yeah.
Yeah. And, politically, Sam Page is in a really tough place. I don't know if I'd put my bets on him going forward, but that's a completely different issue than is he personally corrupt, or do we have a giant scandal brewing? No, what we have is a situation that is going to end up lawyered to death. And yeah, a lot of lawyers are going to make money on this, and the state of Missouri is going to spend taxpayer dollars digging into it, and St. Louis County will spend taxpayer dollars trying to defend it, and it's going to be a whole nother mess, which we seem to love in this town.
By the way, the most interesting opposition for him, and I don't know if he's actually said he's going to run, but I keep hearing the name Brian Williams, who's kind of an impressive young politician.
Yeah, I keep hearing that name too. I have no idea if he's going to run. If he does, that's terrible news for Sam Page. That to me is much worse than the prospect of Andrew Bailey poking around his cell phone.
Interesting stuff. You guys reporting this morning about the mayor's transition team report. That doesn't sound like the sexiest headline in the world, but really, since so much of the mayor's attention has been focused on tornado damage, there's some interesting stuff for us to be thinking about as a roadmap for moving forward as a city in there.
Yeah, this report was something. When we got our hands on this, we're like, oh, we haven't seen any reporting on this. And I think it gives us a sense of who the people that Kara Spencer trusts most What are their priorities, and what do they want her to be focused on? And I think there's a good chance she's going to take a number of these recommendations and items and try to make them happen, because these are people that she trusts, and these are people with good reputations that really care what's happening in St. Louis. Now, reasonable people can disagree on whether these are the right things to focus on, but that's why we have elections. Kara Spencer clearly won. So I think you're going to see some moves to streamline and try to expedite development. I think you're going to see some moves on the public safety front that could be somewhat interesting. They're recommending let's go with things like red light cameras, which kind of stalled out towards the end of Mayor Tashara Jones's term. They also are focused on what can we do to get some momentum back in downtown St. Louis. So you see the areas she's focused on based on the areas covered in this report, and then we see the recommendations. They're pretty interesting to read.
Yeah, I just want to add one little thing to that. I know some people have strong feelings about the red light cameras, but my daughter was in town visiting from out of town last week, and she was laughing at me because she said, Mom, the light turns green and you always sit there before you go. And I said, it's because there's almost always a car speeding through the red light, and so many accidents happen in the city because somebody gets T-boned because you're just following the green light. So anything that could reduce the massive number of those kind of accidents we have, including these cameras, I have to say I'm all for.
Yeah, I lived in Arizona when these were ubiquitous, and I hated them. I cursed so hard every time I would get a red light camera ticket. They also gave you tickets for speeding, which is where they kept nailing me like it was all automated. I thought it was the worst situation ever. And now that I live in St. Louis and I get used to waiting, you said you wait for one car to go through the red. I'm usually waiting for 2 or 3. Like the lived experience of St. Louisans on these streets is turning us all into people who want more policing. I would have never thought in my 20s and 30s that's where I would end up on this.
All right. What about casting agents for Love is Blind, looking for singles in Philadelphia, Charleston, New Orleans, Austin, and yes, St. Louis? Why our town? And explain, please.
Well, I don't know why our town, other than I guess we have the sexiest singles. This show, what makes it unique among reality TV shows is they don't pull in singles from all over the country and put them into a hot setting together and then, see who gets coupled and then they all end up going back home. They, for each season, will choose people from a single city. And so there is actually a chance that people can later build lives together. And so from hours of research spent on this item, I have learned that in past seasons, you really get a close-up at a different town in America. They had one that was filmed in Chicago. They had one that was filmed in Seattle. This could be a really nice close-up for St. Louis. And I just think it's going to be so fun if they pick St. Louis. We all know each other here. Like the level of gossip about this is going to be off the chain, and I am here for it.
Good job doing your due diligence and watching Love is Blind just in case St. Louis was ever the city that was chosen. I think that's the journalistic kudos to you on that. Hey, I have a lot of friends who are big dog people who have loved Bar K as a hangout place for their dogs, built some community and good friends. So the news that they were going belly up and closing rather unceremoniously, bad news in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, this is a bummer. And it's not just a St. Louis story. This is a company that was based in Kansas City, had 3 locations. They're all closing. The financial plan just clearly didn't work. But it's a bummer for people who paid for these memberships and now won't get refunds. It's a bummer for people who moved into the dog-friendly apartments next door thinking this would be their big hangout. It's a bummer for these dogs that no longer have this place to socialize.
All right, good stuff, Sarah. As usual, we appreciate your time. We'll talk next week. Thank you so much, and happy birthday to the newsletter.
Thank you very much.
All right, Sarah Fensky joining us.
And if you guys want to sign up, of course, you just go to St. Louis Magazine. It's free. You can sign up for the St. Louis Daily newsletter. They have a bunch of other good newsletters, too, but that's one that comes in your inbox. What, Connor, lands about 6 a.m. every morning?
It's early.
Yeah, it is. Connor, are you going to, in this next commercial break, start applying for the Love is Blind to see if you could try to get on the show?
I don't know if that's my speed. I don't know if I want to get on. I don't know if I want to be on a reality TV show.
Really? You don't want to join the other sexy young singles in our city? Nope, his face is just turning red. He's turning his back on me saying, enough is enough, Jill. It must be time for us to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years. And their message has remained the same all these 20 years. make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Or johnbealroofing.com.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Hey, it's Heidi, and I feel very lucky to love where I live. And I know Lauren Risley feels the same. And her team at Lauren Risley Realty wants you to experience that same great feeling. One of their mottos at Lauren Risley Realty is love where you live or move. Dream homes are their specialty. Actually, they do a lot of things right, because when you buy or sell a home, it's not just a transaction. What the Lauren Risley team does is build relationships, and I've seen that firsthand. So if you have plans to buy, sell, invest, or just have a question about any of it, call Lauren Risley Realty, 314-775-0684. That's 314-775-0684. You can also email Lauren at hello@laurenrisleyrealty.com.
You know, over the years, Lordo's has become part of the family for many, many St. Louis families. For 80 years, they've been helping St. Louis families with all of the jewelry needs, whether it's the diamond ring, a diamond ring, maybe something for St. Patrick's Day, something for an anniversary, Valentine's Day. Throughout the years and throughout the calendar, it's Lordo's as your go-to. Whether it's men or women, you want to repurpose something or buy something new, Lordo's Diamonds in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road. You see, it's a family business. The family's been running it for years, and they learned it from their father, who learned it from their father. And so that family jeweler, it's where generations of St. Louisans go. Grandparents have gone there. Your grandkids will go there. Right there in Ladue on Clayton Road, across the street from a Norman Rockwell-esque firehouse, is Lordo's Diamonds. Go in, make a friend, and make them your family jeweler, because you can thank me later. 314-432-8008 or online, lordosdiamonds.com.
Very glad you've been with us for the first hour of the Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, Carter McCarthy here as well. Frank asked a really good question at the beginning of the show, played some sound from Jay Leno saying he thought that the late-night hosts of modern television had strayed away from the idea of trying to unify the audience and had gotten so specifically political on the left that they had alienated part of the audience. And here's what some of you had to say for it. Good topic that he brought up. Many of you said essentially Leno's trying to recreate history. He did it particularly as it related to Bill Clinton. Somebody else from the 314 saying, I think it should be that way on radio as well. Also from the 314, Trump opens himself up to this by saying the provocative things he does. Why doesn't he try to be the president for anyone? And then many people saying Jay Leno's spot on as well.
Yeah. So the question is, if you're in charge of the network and your only goal is to get the most viewers as possible so you can charge the highest rates as possible, is it a good idea to alienate half of the country, whether it be alienate half the Democrats or alienate half the Republicans? Or would you want your host to go like Johnny Carson used to in the old days, where he would poke fun at both? And obviously, like, Republicans are particularly sensitive. There was one New York Post stat where Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Fallon made Trump the punchline 90% of their jokes, 97% of their jokes. That was during the 2020 election. And obviously, Trump is more of a punchline. He puts himself out there more, and it's easier. But if it's 97%, then you do run the risk of alienating half the audience.
Right. But what do you say to the people who were pointing out that during the height of the Lewinsky scandal, then Jay Leno, it was his punchline every single night as well, would have been definitely in that 90%. And it's just because it's what people are talking about, and he was easy to make fun of, for sure.
That was easy comedy for sure. But I don't think that Jay Leno, I think that when there was a chance to jab Republicans, he jabbed them often also. But during that period, that's like a comic's dream.
Right.
Correct?
And now somebody is saying that
And just like it is now a little bit with Trump, there's a lot to poke fun at.
I don't, I have to admit, I don't watch late night television other than occasionally, like if it comes up on a feed, and I'll watch particular interviews of somebody I'm interested in segments. And apparently that's where they get a lot of their revenue, is from clicks on things like YouTube and social media. What about the person that says they watch Colbert a lot, and he was pretty ruthless on Biden as well, particularly toward the end? Did you did you watch him regularly enough to say whether that's true?
I haven't watched him regularly enough, but I do read these analytics and these statistics that show that how much of his punchlines were directed at Trump as opposed to Biden. It's not even close. So.
Yeah, and then somebody else pointing out there's Democrats, there's Republicans, and then there's MAGA, which is sort of a different,
That's true.
a different aspect of politics that we have not seen before. Very, very interesting. And somebody else pointing out, why? Dave Letterman. Why didn't we just continue whatever it was he was doing? And I guess you can't be another person. As well.
Speaking of Letterman, real quick, I do have one question for audience too. Who did you think was funnier, Letterman or Leno? Just I've thrown it out there because the ratings reflect Leno blew everybody away, but everybody I know always thought David Letterman was funnier. I'd love to hear what our audience thinks.
I thought Letterman was funnier too, but I contend it's because you and I were in our 40s during the heyday, so there was a generational difference. Generation above us was already watching NBC because they were Johnny Carson fans, and so they stuck with Leno. Our generation was more interested in the more cutting edge at that time. I could be wrong, but that's my theory.
All right, we'll take a short time out. When we come back, we are going to go back to the feature with Tariq Khan, the movie Witness.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in-store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
News, weather, traffic, sports, and live local talk. This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Streaming live at KTRS.com.
Depend on it.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The threat of a tsunami fading, with waves lashing the U.S. West Coast for hours, but those waves have not been huge. The tsunami alerts triggered by the massive 8.8 magnitude quake off the coast of Russia. ABC's Alex Stone is in Los Angeles, where residents were under an overnight advisory.
At this point, there is no known damage in the U.S., and there was no large destructive wave. Sensors have picked up smaller waves. This man in Marina Del Rey, California, spent all night watching the water. He says it's been fascinating watching the tide.
I don't think we saw much of a tidal wave, but we have seen a lot of surge
going in and then immediately reversing.
Still, people are being told to stay away from beaches. Currents could be unpredictable for a few days. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
In New York City, authorities are learning more about the shooter who killed 4 people, including an NYPD officer in Midtown on Monday. ABC's Aaron Katursky has more on how the gunman, police say, obtained a weapon before traveling to New York.
27-year-old Shane Tamura carried a high-powered rifle into the building and immediately opened fire. The shooter had a concealed carry permit issued to him in 2022 in Las Vegas, where he worked security at a casino. Police said a co-worker purchased the lower receiver of the rifle used in the attack.
Friday is the tariff deadline set by President Trump for countries to resolve trade issues or face hikes in imports into the U.S. GDP increased at an annual rate of 3% in the second quarter of 2025. That's higher than what analysts expected, and reversing a 0.5% decline in the first quarter. President Trump responded to the rise, demanding the Federal Reserve drop interest rates. The Board of Governors issues its rate decision later today. Thousands lining the streets today in Birmingham, England, Ozzy Osbourne's hometown, to pay their respects to the heavy metal icon. During his funeral procession, a brass band paying tribute with their rendition of one of his hits, Crazy Train. You're listening to ABC News.
When was the last time you detoxed your body? If you're like most people, the answer is probably never. Toxins accumulate in our bodies every day from pollution in the air we breathe and water we drink, as well as the food we eat, especially if that food includes fast food, processed food, and sugar. How do you know if you're suffering from a buildup of toxins? If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation, then those are all telltale signs. So, how do you detox your body? Well, you can add saunas or juice fasts, but what you really need is Active Liver from New Nordic. Containing a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, Active Liver makes it easy to help your liver detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Try Active Liver today and start feeling better with more energy immediately. Active Liver comes in both a delicious gummy or tablet. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or Meijer, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. At Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
This is KTRS. I'm Sobe Bay. The search for a missing O'Fallon woman has come to a tragic end. This is KTRS's Jill Sobe Bay. The search for a missing O'Fallon woman has come to a tragic end.
To diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I was always tired, with weekly bouts of indigestion. A friend asked me, when was the last time you did a detox? Never, I said, so she recommended Active Liver.
Our liver works hard every day to remove toxins from processed foods and unclean air and water. But too many toxins can overwhelm the liver, causing it to actually store toxins in our body fat. Low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation are all telltale signs that we need to act. Water or juice fasts can help, but often require days or weeks of feeling tired and sick. Thankfully, there's an easier way. Active Liver from New Nordic is a natural supplement that helps your liver effectively eliminate toxins on a daily basis, leaving you feeling better with more energy and less bloating.
Within a week of taking Active Liver, I was feeling better, and now I have more energy than I've had in years.
Available in both tablet or delicious gummies, you can find Active Liver online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS or Meijer grocery.
Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant has been a staple in St. Charles for 35 years. Our comfortable, casual atmosphere offers some of the best comfort food you've ever had. Customers might know our delicious breakfast, but you can have whatever you want, anytime you want, with our full menu 24 hours a day. Nothing warms your heart like Gingham's famous vegetable soup, and we can cater your event, too. If you like home-style food and great friendly service, you'll love Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles. 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. The search for a missing O'Fallon woman has come to a tragic end. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
Police say the body of 36-year-old Kiwana Montgomery was found yesterday inside of a drainage culvert near Highway K and Christina Marie Drive in O'Fallon. Montgomery was reported missing by her family on Sunday. An autopsy will be conducted to determine a cause of death. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
The Director of Safety and Security for St. Louis Public Schools has resigned. Terrell Baker announced his resignation yesterday after 8 months on the job. He's leaving to accept a job in emergency operations with the Missouri School Boards Association. Baker is the second to resign from this position within a year. Colonel DeAndre Davis resigned from the position last October. The St. Louis County Council has approved an agreement to collaborate with 3 other counties to establish a regional police training center. St. Charles and Franklin counties have already approved the measure, while Jefferson County is expected to vote on the agreement in a meeting on August 11th. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe is visiting the St. Louis area today. Kehoe is speaking at the kickoff event for the North County Police Cooperative Police Foundation in Dellwood. And this afternoon, Kehoe will attend the grand opening of the new coastal cold storage facility in Forestell. 2 national retailers will soon occupy the space of the former movie theater at Plaza Frontenac. The St. Louis Business Journal reports that public records and photos indicate that Talbot's, which already has a location at the mall, and Abercrombie & Fitch will occupy the space. The stores are scheduled to open this fall with $1.2 million in renovations. The St. Louis Zoo Wild Care Park has announced that it's working on a unique way that children will be able to learn about animal care through virtual reality. Details from KTRS's Steve Potter.
The zoo's Wild Care Park and Conservation Center that covers 425 acres in North County near the Mississippi won't officially open until 2027, but work is underway and it's already home to around 40 animals. At the request of the zoo, staff at the Center for Crime Science and Violence Prevention at SIU Edwardsville have begun developing a virtual reality simulation and software that will show visitors how to feed and care for animals there and keep them safe. According to Professor Dennis Mayers, they are now finalizing the project that he says will provide a great introduction to young people about the complexities of animal care. And he says the project should be completed and ready for use by fall. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Wall Street right now, the Dow Jones is up 1.5 points to 44,634. S&P 500 up 10 to 6,381. The Nasdaq is up 78 points to 21,176. KTRS Sports, Mizzou starting left guard Caden Green has been added to the preseason watch list for the Outland Trophy. The Outland is presented to the best interior offensive lineman in the country. The Cardinals were blanked by the Marlins 5-0. The Redbirds managed just 4 hits in defeat. Rubber match set for tonight at Busch Stadium. KTRS weather, the St. Louis area remains under an extreme heat warning until 7 tonight. Today, a mix of sun and clouds with a storm possible this afternoon, high of 94. Tonight, thunderstorms expected with an overnight low of 72. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a spot shower, high of 81. Right now, we have 90 degrees at 11:08. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
All right. Tarek is in the house. Tarek Khan, back to the feature segment. Boy, did you pick a movie. I know Jill was advocating for Beaches, but you insisted on this movie, and it is unbelievable. We've told a bunch of people about watching it. Everybody's watched it. Everybody's loved it. Made $117 million. What made it special?
Well, it's funny. Witness, this was a good old-fashioned police drama with a twist. And that is that you have a crime and the only witness, a little Amish boy. And the fact that the tough, no-nonsense, police officer played by Harrison Ford then becomes involved with this Amish family, Kelly McGillis and her son. He infiltrates their world. There becomes this connection, and the story progresses. And it's funny, Witness, it almost could have been a comedy. Think about the premise. A cop, ending up living with a group of Amish people. But the way it was done, it was so realistic. It felt so natural. And the chemistry between Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis, they were just on fire. And it's funny, it's 40 years old, nominated for 8 Academy Awards, and it still holds up today, Witness.
It really does. I mean, the storyline, I saw it in movie theaters back in 1985.
Same here.
Yeah, we were 16 or whatever.
Right.
So I only remember the basics of the premise. I remember being really interested and a little skeptical because I grew up, as you did, in a small town where there were Amish communities not terribly far away. So it wasn't like we had seen people who lived in Amish communities in this way. And I thought, how do you make this into a compelling drama? And it really did. I think it landed, fired on all cylinders.
Oh, absolutely, and especially once Harrison Ford as the detective, once he enters that world, you see the friction, you see the dynamics between various groups in the community and him, and you see this relationship, sort of grow and how they come to respect him and almost embrace him. There, of course, are the tensions because of the obvious attraction between Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis, but it really was fascinating. And all the actors who played the various Amish, characters were excellent. By the way, Viggo Mortensen made his film debut in Witness. I'm not sure if you caught that, but a young Viggo Mortensen, now an Academy Award nominee 3 times, made his film debut in Witness.
Okay, most intense scenes, I think there are 2 of them. The boy in the bathroom when he sees the killing, or the little boy looking at the photo of Danny Glover at the police station and he knowing right away that's the guy, and Harrison Ford from across the room sees the boy's attention in his eyes, their eyes meet, and he knows something that's happening right there. Let's break down those 2 scenes. First, the boy in the bathroom when he sees the murder.
Oh, yeah, of course. That was incredible because, here you have this little Amish boy who you can presume, he's never experienced anything like, a busy Philadelphia train station, all these people, and he's in the bathroom, and this murder takes place, and he's watching it. And you can only imagine, coming from, a little Amish community where they practice nonviolence, to witness that. His reaction, absolutely fascinating. And by the way, the young actor Lucas Haas, there was nothing forced about his reaction. It was very, very natural, and that made it very, very effective. And it's funny, as an audience member, you're on the edge of your seat, waiting to see, okay, they're going to find him, because you recall he's sort of there hiding. He has to move from stall to stall to make sure they don't see him, and he almost gets discovered, and then they leave just in time. So that scene, really was, incredibly intense. And then, of course, yes, the other scene where he realizes, the little boy realizes that the killer is that detective. That was another great moment. And when Harrison Ford and Lucas Haas, when they make that eye contact, there's that connection. It really sets the story in motion. So another great moment in Witness.
So I had forgotten that Danny Glover was in this movie until I relooked at the cast again, and then rewatching it, I was surprised at how few lines he has. He really doesn't say much at all in the movie. He's got some, he's doing some physical acting and involved in multiple shootouts and in some nefarious things for sure. But I forgot that he just really doesn't have a big role in terms of speaking.
It's funny, Jill. I forgot as well that Danny Glover was in Witness, and it's funny because I recently rewatched The Color Purple, which also celebrated its 40th anniversary, another Best Picture nominee that year, along with Witness. And of course, Danny Glover was great in that performance, and he was not nominated for the Academy Award for The Color Purple. And between that and Witness, it would have been a great year for him. But even though he didn't have a lot of dialogue in Witness, he really did sell that role. He really did make you, sort of, hate that character, and he played it very, very well, and a really memorable performance.
Then the sexual chemistry between Kelly McGillis and Harrison Ford. When John Book, Harrison Ford, sees her topless for the first time and had to walk away because he respected her so much, he didn't want to get her in trouble. And then the other one was when she finally realized that he was leaving the next day, she said, "The heck with it," and took off the bonnet, and they embraced.
Right. It's funny, that first scene where he does see her topless, it's funny, as an audience member, you sort of feel like, you feel the embarrassment of both those characters. You feel for her, okay, she suddenly, had somebody, see her, and then, him, accidentally.
But didn't she want him to see her She didn't make a move to cover up.
Well, she didn't. But I think that it wasn't intentional. I don't believe. I mean,
Not
once
initially,
it happened,
but she didn't go to cover it
well,
up.
I think that she was in a state of shock. And obviously, given her background, the way that she had been, grown up to be in that position, I think it was just something which was just, so, out of left field for her that she had no choice but just to sort of, freeze. And it really was a very natural moment. The reaction from both characters there that really was powerful. And as an audience member, you didn't know what's going to happen next. You felt, I think, the tensions, the embarrassment, and you waited to see what would happen, and nothing did. And they actually made it more powerful that way, I think.
So I thought it was interesting that Kelly McGillis went and lived for over a week with an Amish family in order to try to get the language and the cadence, because in many Amish communities they speak a version of German, and then they talk about people who are not in the Amish community as being the English, even though most speak English, but it may not be primary language. And so she got the cadence of it down. And then I was really surprised at how much time and attention they gave to that barn raising scene. I mean, it was not, you wouldn't think of as much hammering and construction as riveting movie making, but it was a really important part of the story.
It really was. It really was. And I want to mention that Kelly McGillis, it's funny, this was only her second film, I believe. She made her film debut in a film in 1983 called Reuben, starring Tom Conti. He was nominated for an Academy Award, and she was great. But in Witness, I forgot how great she was.
Yeah.
I mean, she really mastered the dialect. She was so believable. She should have been nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress because she was terrific. So it's funny. It's a part that really, I think they looked at a number of different actresses for, and the director, when he saw her, realized that she just had that quality, and she hit it out of the park. And the chemistry again between her and Harrison Ford, I mean, just off the charts.
Okay, I think like the actor who doesn't get a whole lot of credit but was unbelievable was the crooked cop Joseph Summer, who really, there's just something about him. Every movie he's ever made, it's the voice, it's the presence. Sometimes he's diabolical, but he's just so smooth in doing it.
Right. Yes. Now, he's the one who at the very end, he was the one that had Kelly McGillis at gunpoint and eventually gave up the gun. Yes. No, he was terrific, and it's funny how it was kind of a surprise to realize that he was a corrupt cop as well, and he was terrific throughout the film. And that final scene there where he's pointing the gun and there's all these Amish people around, and suddenly he realizes that he just has to give up. I mean, he was fantastic, a great villain, and one that wasn't too over the top, very layered, very nuanced.
Yes.
Great performance.
I agree with that. That was a great thing to point out. I was surprised to learn that this was an unproduced Gunsmoke the episode. That's where the original seed of the idea came from.
Right, fascinating. It came out of an idea from a television show, and it was nominated and won then the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. Witness did again, one of its 8 Academy Awards, also one for film editing. But yeah, the concept, I mean, it really was original. And of course, then taking that idea, and like I said, it could have almost been a comedy, something that almost seemed silly, but they made it so realistic. I mean, the writing, the directing, the performances, everything was so well done that it drew the viewer in, and it made you feel like you really were watching things like they really would happen if this strange scenario were to actually happen.
Tell me about Kelly McGillis. She was in obviously Top Gun and The Accused, but kind of a sudden ending. She didn't get to do a whole lot a little bit later, which is unfair to actresses a lot of times.
Right, yeah, it really is funny because she was a hot actress, in the 80s after Witness and after Top Gun, after The Accused. Kelly McGillis, she played the prosecuting attorney in The Witness. Jodie Foster, of course, was the rape victim, and Jodie Foster got so much of the credit. She won the Academy Award, but Kelly McGillis actually, I think, maybe had more screen time and was fantastic. So it really is unfortunate the way that her career. I mean, it was great, but that it didn't, last longer. And she did a few more films in the early 90s and then kind of dropped off. It's unfortunate because she really was a talented actress, I think a popular actress. I mean, again, without her performance in Witness and Top Gun, those films I don't think would have been the successes that they were. So it's unfortunate that her career, didn't last as long as it did. But while it did, though, she did great work.
And Frank pointed out yesterday, you wouldn't think of a movie about the Amish being a real blockbuster. Although Frances McDormand in 2022 did shoot the movie called Women Talking, which is about critically acclaimed, if not a huge blockbuster, about sort of an experience of a community an Amish community
Right,
as
yes.
well.
And it's funny, a film like that, Women Talking, which was a Best Picture nominee, won the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay. It wasn't a huge hit because it was a very artsy film. Didn't have a lot of mainstream appeal. But Witness, by taking an everyday cop and putting him into that world of the Amish, I mean that was, I think, really the real dynamite. Just putting that, creating that that plot. That's what made it so great.
All right, a couple of non-related witness topics. You did the interview with John O'Leary on Sunday. Tell me about what was that like? You've done quite a few of these over the years, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. Well, of course, this is for, the film Soul on Fire, which is about, his life. He, of course, is a St. Louis native, and I guess he suffered major, burns as a child and was given, I think, a 1% chance of survival. And against all odds, I mean, he came back and has lived an amazing life as a motivational speaker. And, yeah, this film about his life, which I didn't get to see then, Jill, I know that you did, but I got the chance to speak to him, and he was a great interview. The people, they were so excited to see the film, and it's going to be, in theaters in October, and I cannot wait to go see it. So everyone, Soul on Fire. And by the way, it's set in St. Louis. It was shot in St. Louis. We talked about how important it was to do the film here and not, in Vancouver or some other random place, but to do it here where people would see, various landmarks and recognize this great city. So it'll be a great film for St. Louis residents to experience.
Finally, we were talking Leno and Letterman, and you actually worked for NBC and were a part of the crew in Burbank a little bit. You got to know Leno a little bit?
Well, yeah, I worked at NBC Burbank for a couple of years, and so, yeah, I see Jay Leno around the lot all the time. I remember one time, actually, when I was working at the Network News Bureau, they sent us an MSNBC Frisbee celebrating its 2-year anniversary, and I went over, I gave him the Frisbee. I said, hey, use this on the air. So I seen him around the lot, and we'd always talk. He was super nice, interviewed a few times, so I can't help but, feel a certain affection for Jay Leno because he was great. And, of course, David Letterman, who was, he was brilliant. I can't forgive him for his Oscars hosting gig back in 1995. I'm sorry. He just bombed. Remember, Uma, Oprah, Keanu, such a disaster. So I must admit, I hold that against David Letterman. I should let it go. It's been 30 years, but I just can't.
Great to see you, sir. Thanks so much. Great job as usual.
Thanks so much, folks.
That's right. He has the inside scoop of all things Academy Awards, and we're so lucky twice a month to get his insights, Tarek. As always, our listeners love it. We love it, and can't wait to talk about what is next. Somebody else who we love and always looking forward to talking about their expertise are our friends at Premier Heating and Cooling. And that's because even when they're as swamped and busy as they are right now, customer service is what reigns supreme for them. Their technicians are working like crazy, making sure that people can stay safe in their homes when the air conditioners put to the limit, as ours have been for the last several weeks in a row now. And they say, yep, this is what we're here for. It's our Super Bowl. We make sure that we can take care of people and even have 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week service for emergency situations when it comes to our air conditioners and keeping us safe and cool in the summers. It's just one of the reasons that so many customers are the ones that say, this is the company you got to use. So much of their business comes back from return customers just like me. PremierHeatingCooling.net, 636-916-1122.
All right, so you're looking for a new front door, maybe to change the style up a little bit. Maybe you've got some windows that are leaking and aren't very energy efficient, and you'd like to get some new ones. And so you start looking for a window company. Let me tell you about my friend and my neighbor, Larry Thornton from the Window Store. He's been selling windows and doors in St. Louis for 37 years. He has access to all the quality windows and all the quality doors. And unlike so many other window companies, it's not a marketing game. Buy one, get the next 7 free. At the Window Store, you buy one window, you get one window. But when you compare apples to apples, right, you'll notice that the Window Store has much better pricing. There is no hard sell. They're not going to stand in the middle of your living room demanding you sign on the dotted line. For 37 years, they've beat everybody on quality, on price, on customer service. If you need windows or doors, that's why you need to call my neighbor, Larry, or his son, Joe, 314-739-0002 or wswindow.net.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Thanks, Farmer Dave. We are insanely busy right now. It's my peak selling and buying season. I need to buy as many pristine Corvettes, Cadillacs, Vipers, Raptors, and other sports cars and luxury cars that I can find. Do you have a unique, rare, classic, or collectible vehicle you want to sell? Maybe even a daily driver with super low miles and in an excellent condition. If so, we want to talk. We are cash buyers for collector-grade vehicles, including motorcycles. We've got great deals on hard-to-find, auto-check certified vehicles, too. Hop on our site today to buy, sell, or trade.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars, Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit MasterCarsInc.com to get more details. That's MasterCarsInc.com.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Hey, Heidi Glaus here, asking you to join us weekly as we present the KTRS Book Club, presented by the St. Louis County Library for readers of every generation. Books transport us anywhere our imagination wants to go. They are absolutely magical. The KTRS Book Club will introduce you to local and national authors, events, and special programs presented by the St. Louis County Library every week from 3 to 6 right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Heidi Glaus, Josh Gilbert, and Bob Ramsey.
We have Dr. Ravi Johar talking to us about bladder cancer. We've got Lauren Risley giving us some housing market tips. And the author of the latest Johnny Carson book, Carson the Magnificent, is going to join us at 5:10.
Heidi Glaus, Josh Gilbert, and Bob Ramsey. Weekday afternoons at 3 on the Big 550.
Always current and always on.
KTRS.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSL, more is what moves us. Find your more and build more connections at more.umsl.edu.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
We really appreciate the Bommarito Automotive family being a part of this program. And here's my offer to our audience. If you want to get a Bommarito car and you text me your number on the text lines, I'll have somebody from Bommarito call you within 24 hours, and I guarantee you, you're going to get some great service. I've been doing this for about 25 years. Just did it yesterday for a producer, did it a week before for a reporter. But if you're looking for a car and they sell every type of car, just text in. Say, Frank, have somebody call me, and we will do that right away.
Wow, that is really great service. Somebody else asking what your on the Royal Banks Missouri text line, before we get to the song and the quote, what your recommendations are at Lorenzo's.
Boy, first of all, the house salad is a must. They have the pistachios in there. Do you remember that?
Yes, it's great. We absolutely loved it. The spadini, that when we were there on Friday night, I thought the spadini was out of this world. Have you had the spadini there as well?
I did not, but let me tell you the...
and then the pasta, I got to look up the name of it, but you also agreed it was an excellent pasta. Is it congili?
Yep, that's it.
They're congili with eggplant. It has, if you like olives and the capers, that has just so much flavor. I ate the leftovers of it yesterday, and it was just as good. It was
There's
amazing.
another pasta I'm going to look up, and I'll have that in a minute. But why don't you get to a song of the day? Wait a minute, hold on. I'm at the menu right now. Gosh, their arancini balls are really good.
Mm-hmm. And the goat cheese ravioli, highly recommend that as well.
I think... Oh, I had the chicken risotto, which was really good. Yes. Oh yeah, the congeli. Boy, we must have had I must have had 3 entrees. It was really good. Yeah, I stole some of Monique's. So.
Yeah, that's how it should be, right? We get to share with each other. Sharing is caring when it comes to eating at a great restaurant like Lorenzo's. So a lot of us, if you stayed up and watched Frank on the News last night like I did, and you heard at many of the top of the local newscasts was news that there had been a big earthquake in Russia that was going to potentially lead to tsunami in some of the portions of the United States. And so I stayed up watching it for a while. Fortunately, it seems like they had enough prep that so far anyway, it hasn't been the catastrophe, of course, that we all remember from the tsunami that hit South Asia a number of years ago. But I thought maybe my favorite Carole King song was a little bit apropos given the events of the last 24 hours. Are you a Carole King fan?
Yes, and that is the song.
Me too. But I love the whole Tapestry album from 1971. Her voice, the incredible writing she did for so many other great artists as well. Have you seen the Carole King musical that's been out for a number of years now? Beautiful, about her life story.
No.
I think you would absolutely love it.
They came here, right? Like last year?
Yeah.
The Fox?
It's been at the Fox a couple of times. I think we saw it the first time, and it was at the Muni a couple of years ago as well. It's just, if you like her music, it's just so fascinating. Her ability to songwrite and and the other artists that she wrote for in Motown and the sort of lack of credit she got for a lot of it. And then Tapestry came out, and people's recognized not only could she write great music, but she had a great voice too.
That song, I Feel the Earth Move, was #1 for 5 straight weeks. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it really.
1971. Holy cow.
Yeah, I was surprised that it was that early, but I mean, considering it's got legs, as some people would say, one of those ones that seems to stand the test of time. So Pete Davidson's been in the news somewhat. He's in the last few months, he's going to be a dad. He's kind of taken a pivot about his image and is famously getting most of the tattoos on his body. And he was one of those guys that was tattooed, from the chin down, pretty much every inch of his body. And he's painstakingly and painfully getting many of them removed. So this interview he did recently, talking about some of what he describes as stupid motivations for some of the tattoos that he had on the body that he's now getting removed, was kind of fun. So he
That's
talked
good.
about, like, apparently after he got that saying from Chappelle, which, what does it really mean? And he was like, this is profound. And then people started making fun of him about it so much that then he had to cover it with this giant Jaws shark. So apparently it's a little trickier to get the double tattoos off, but he's getting it done for sure.
Have you covered any of your tattoos up, or have you kept them? The ones?
Oh yeah, I mean I am fully tatted up on my whole back.
Got the German Shepherd on the back, I've heard.
Yes, a lot. Tramp stamp. And
It's more of a generational thing. You don't see a lot of people in your generation with tattoos if they weren't in the military.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends in my age. I would say I think if you're kind of under 60, somewhere 60 to 45, there's more people that have gotten tattoos for sure. And I have a number of friends that have one that's symbolic for something
I guess I would count like one little one, on the wrist or the
Right.
ankle is not
count
counting.
Yeah, one of my friends got put in memory of somebody in her life who was important to her. She got a white heart just tattooed on the inside of her wrist, and then you have to get like a suntan or put some self-tanning on to see it. And I was like, well, that doesn't really count. But
Is it less painful?
I don't know. I haven't. I mean,
Nowadays?
I'm not opposed to it. My problem is with my ADD that I change my mind on stuff a lot, and so I've always been a little paranoid that
So
same
not a
kind of thing.
Picture of John, you could change your mind.
No, I wouldn't change my mind on John, but nor would he probably want me to be that committed. Commitment.
A guest on this program a few weeks ago. Remember Scott Spezio? We had him on. His incredible story of beating drugs and alcohol, and now he's a great speaker. So he was married to a woman you would say is kind of a bombshell when he was here. And on his rather large bicep, he had her, not just her face, but her whole body tattooed on the bicep. And of course, what happens a couple of years later? They're divorced. I mean,
yeah,
gosh.
that's the challenging part of it. I remember running into a young woman who I kind of knew through some family people, and she had gotten when the minute she turned 18, she went and got an ice cream cone on the top of her foot. Right, so it's kind of a hard place if you're a woman and you wear shoes. And she's like, I just love ice cream cones. I just wanted to get that. And John and I looked at each other after we talked to her for a couple minutes. We're like, how old do you think she's going to be before she looks down at that ice cream cone on her foot and says, I wonder if that was a good idea, for sure.
Yeah.
And
you'd be surprised. I don't say you'd be surprised, but about the number of people that have tattoos that you would never think. Well, he has a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes coaches get like Patino. I think maybe it was in Louisville when he won a national title. He said, "If we win, I'll get a tattoo," and he got a tattoo. There's just a lot of people you'd be surprised.
Yeah, and I have a lot of friends that were on that, college fraternity or sorority trip that decided it was a brilliant idea to get their letters on the inside of their ankle. My sister famously was on a trip to the Middle East and got this Egyptian symbol on hers, and now she says people wonder why she has one of the Smurfs on her feet. I mean, it's just it's always kind of funny.
Here's a stat. This is from AI. Who knows? Approximately 25% of Americans with tattoos report regretting at least one of them. This is a story. This is from a study by Advanced Dermatology.
But I wonder, a lot of the regret, again, it's from AI too, so I don't know the breakdown. Some of the regret that I've seen is sometimes like not regret of getting a tattoo, but they have multiple tattoos and they regret that this one looks bad, or they got it from a cheaper, shop, and now it doesn't look good or it's fading too much. And I think the breakdown on regret often doesn't end up being, oh my God, I wish I'd never gotten a tattoo, but it's just kind of there's different levels to it.
Here's another study that says 25% regret. But yeah, I think you bring up a good point.
I think you do too, and I probably was one of those people, touting the regret data to my teenagers back in the day, and now I'm like, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You can get it removed if you want to, but if you feel it, and a lot of people have beautiful tattoos, and I love
Heidi
how they
Glaus
look.
has a big, pretty sizable tattoo.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, and so it's I'm definitely in the you do you camp on that, and it's your body. You get to do whatever you want.
Okay, now this can't be right. According to Pew Research Center, 32% of Americans have a tattoo, including 22% who have more than one. Doesn't that seem high?
No, I don't think so. I think there is a lot of people. I mean, to Connor's point, they may have that one little one,
right.
or it's a place on your body that nobody else is going to see. It's just something that's symbolic or important, or that they want to mark or memorialize.
Okay, here's another stat. Adults under 50 are especially likely to have a tattoo. Some 41% of those under 30 have at least one, as do 46% of those ages 30 to 49.
Yeah, somebody
It's
else.
just like a generational thing. Like
Yeah.
my cousin, she turned 18 this year, and I saw her recently. She had like a little shamrock tattoo on her ankle, and if that counts, then she's on the list now. She just turned 18 and she got one, so that's how it is.
Are you a tattoo fan? Or do you see yourself getting one?
I don't. Not because I'm particularly against them, but just because I've never really felt like it would add anything to my life for how expensive they are. So
Yeah, there's a cost.
There's
and
a cost
pain
involved,
factor
yeah.
that some people are saying. I think they're cool, but I'm not willing to make that expenditure. From the 314, Connor's so right. Most people I know aren't happy with it. I know you weren't taking a stand on it. This is great. 314. I'm 60. Always wanted one, but I couldn't decide what I want to look at forever. That's right. Maybe I'll get one when I'm 80, and then I'll say, well, I don't have to look at it for that much longer, and I'll enjoy it that way. Also, thanks for letting us know. Somebody's telling us their son's family of 4 talking about the tsunami, and they're at an oceanfront lodge in Crescent City, California, and under the tsunami warning, they had to stay in a Walmart parking lot last night. Wow, that's an experience, as you say. Text her to an already exciting trip. Thanks for texting in about that. That's quite a story.
All right, let's take a short time out. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
One more day of stout heat and humidity, and then this heat wave is over. It is about time. We're going to warm up quickly through the midday and afternoon. 95, my forecast high. Heat index between 100 and 105. And then some rapid fire changes. Here comes a cold front mid to late afternoon into tonight. Let's be ready for scattered storms, and some of them could be heavy, maybe even some strong winds in spots. But boy, it results in much cooler weather tomorrow. Now, Thursday's still a little muggy, considerable cloudiness, some rain still around, but the rain chances drop through the day on Thursday, so that Friday into the weekend, oh my goodness, just beautiful. Mostly sunny, the humidity much lower, and highs much easier to take, close to 80. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSOL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
August 4th through the 10th, shop and dine in Maplewood, and you'll be giving back to the community. A portion of your spending will go directly to area nonprofit organizations. Don't miss out, mark your calendar, and join the Maplewood community of makers in giving back. Let's make a difference together. For more information, visit maplewoodmo.gov/fun. That's maplewoodmo.gov/fun.
Concerned about where your retirement is heading? Is it on track to meet your needs and goals? Are taxes and inflation a constant worry? Well, you can join Jerry Means for What Retirement Means to You, powered by Means Financial Group, and find out how their team can help guide you to that retirement you've always dreamed of. Listen to What Retirement Means to You with Jerry Means, Sunday mornings at 10 on KTRS, The Talk of St. Louis. More details at meansfinancialgroup.com.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, listen closely as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. What is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
And what are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands, or balance issues, call Comprehensive Integrated Healthcare today for a nerve damage screening. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe that nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 636-241-9370. Act now. Call 636-241-9370. Be among the first 10 callers and get this important screening for free. 636-241-9370.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna, they get a team that truly cares about their success. Check them out online today at kunafoodservice.com.
Another great song.
Yeah, boy.
From that album. Absolutely.
Was those
love
her Runaway 1 and 2s? Like in top 2 songs of hers? Is there anything else in that group?
I don't know, but if you I guarantee on your turntable, if you bought the Tapestry album, you would be able to, you would love every one. I don't think all of them were even chart toppers, but it's just good music for sure. Hey, tomorrow on the weekly special, John Hamilton Danny from the Rack House out in Cottleville going to be joining us. Really unique items on their menu. Popular place. People drive in from all over for some of the things that they have that nobody else has, and very well known for their whiskey and steak. For sure.
I wonder. I don't think I've ever had a glass of whiskey. Have you?
I'm not a big whiskey drinker.
Connor?
Never had a glass of whiskey.
Or a shot of whiskey.
Ever?
Yeah.
Bourbon or anything?
That's surprising.
Yeah.
How about
I
an
don't think
old-fashioned?
Scotch or anything like that. Yeah.
Are you an old-fashioned?
No.
People will give me an old-fashioned and say, "Oh, this is good. You'll like it." And then I think it would be so good if there wasn't bourbon in it.
I tell you
Well,
what.
it's mostly just bourbon. So yeah.
You know what a heck of a drink is, and this is probably going to sound feminine, is a chocolate martini. Oh my gosh! Have you ever tasted one of those? I
It's a dessert.
I
It's
have.
not really a
It's not really for me. Not because it's feminine. I just don't like the chocolate that much.
Cafe Napoli. Oh my goodness! I could suck those things down like they're lemonades.
Yeah, I did that once and had a not great experience. So probably why I'm not as drawn to them. Sweet drinks in general, I'm not very.
You don't
good
like
at.
a pina colada?
No, not really.
Really? Like it's 85 and you're at a pool and no.
No, actually, I now a Bud.
Yeah, I'm all about them. Daiquiris, yeah.
Yeah, John is too. He and I are the opposite that way. He loves a good dessert drink or sweet drink for sure. I just do not. I like a Bud Light Lime or a Corona Light with lime. I think that's refreshing on a hot day.
Well, we have the exact
Well,
same
and Frank's
taste.
a big Bud Light Lime guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Corona Light with the lime?
Do they even still make Bud Light Limes? That's still around?
You know what? I have not seen them in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a summer there. I remember it was a really hot summer, and I was working from home and doing stuff. And I, at some point, thought, I got to stop picking these up at Costco. Because when I'm thirsty in the afternoon, instead of going down and grabbing water, I'm like,
You're
I think it's
sucking down beers in the middle of the afternoon.
I don't think I ever had more than 2 for sure, but I also thought I probably need to replace some of these with a little bit of
Okay,
water.
explain this. Why is it like if you're kind of hungry and then you have a beer or maybe even 2, the food tastes even better?
Pizza especially.
Yeah. Why is that the case?
I don't know, but I definitely have a Pavlovian response to when I eat pizza. And again, I'm not a very.
But this is before eating the pizza or while you're eating the pizza.
If I'm eating pizza, a beer sounds better to me than it does at other times.
Okay.
Because I'm not generally somebody. I'm so wimpy with my beer. I like it when it's got some fruit juice in it. Like I like a Blue Moon because they put the orange slice in it and squeeze a little orange in there. I like it like that.
We were talking about David Letterman earlier, and a good friend, Jeff Drew, just texted in. How about the worst interview ever? It was with Joaquin Phoenix and David Letterman, and he was like really smug and nonverbal, and he wouldn't answer questions. I think Dave got fed up with him, and later I believe Joaquin Phoenix apologized.
He did.
For it.
He was trying to play the character in the movie, and he came on to Colbert recently, actually, and kind of explained it and said, I really should have been much more public at the time about the fact that I laid an egg. I was trying for something, and it absolutely did not work, and it was a negative all the way around. But he's much older and wiser now, and shares that. Somebody else pointing out that the late night shouldn't be so political, but I also feel that way about talk radio as well. I get that. I agree with you 100%. I'm with you. Letterman versus Leno. Some people saying they just think that Letterman was a little too acerbic, but most people saying in our unofficial poll to your question that they also thought that Letterman was just funnier and his stuff was more unique. Remember the top 10 lists? You just couldn't wait to watch those.
Yeah. He was, gosh, it was great. It really was.
Yeah, I agree. From the 314, hey, I'm out west driving towards St. Peter's. The cold front is arriving. That's about the best news I've heard in a long time.
It's that close, huh? All right.
Yeah, I think that for sure. Somebody else saying, Dave was definitely funnier and Colbert is not funny at all. I'm 64, always like Letterman more than Leno. This is interesting. Kimmel has the funniest monologues of the 3 currently, and Colbert has the best interviews. Would you agree with
I
that?
will say this. Jimmy Kimmel is funny. And I think that's a perfect example of what Leno was talking about, that he became so political. And I think he cried the night that Trump actually won the election. And because Kimmel is he's always been funny. He's so talented.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just wondering, why would you want to alienate half of the audience because he became so political?
Chief writer is a St. Louis.
Yeah, married a St. Louis girl, too.
Yeah, and
he doesn't like emos, though. He's talked about this.
But
yes, John Hamm has defended it.
Yeah, he actually got it and had it shipped in for John Hamm to eat on the show and tell him how great it was. This is an interesting one from the 636. I used to love all the late night shows. Can't watch any now. Actively dislike Colbert's activism. Look at all his leftist guests. Always a Letterman fan, though, and Leno made me cringe. Cringe, that's interesting. Yeah, it's per usual. You guys have some very interesting takes on it. And at least in our audience here, it looks like late night television viewing is still alive and well. Many of them are watching more regularly than both you and I report watching.
I do not watch it. I go home and watch something, but it's usually not that.
Yes. What I do every single day is eat lunch. And one of my favorite places to go, 3 Bay Barbecue and Bakery. I have resisted so far the temptation, even though it's so good and the baked goods are so out of this world. I mean, banana cake, the carrot cake is outstanding, to eat the dessert items for lunch. But one of these days, I'm just going to say carpe diem and take advantage of that because they're just so good. But if you want to get a little protein in like I do most days, it's when you get to be a certain age, that's like a part-time job we all have, making sure we get enough protein. Well, one of your best sources of protein is going to be at 3 Bay Barbecue. Delicious. You can either go on the healthy side with turkey and chicken, and there are options there, or maybe you want to get more of a beef variety, everything from smash burger tacos. They have these pork belly wraps. Wow, very, very good. Saucy rib sandwich as well. If you're getting hungry, all you have to do is go to the Phillips 66 station at Clayton Road and 141, pull into the gas station, and then walk on through to where the service bays used to be. That is where 3 Bay Barbecue and Bakery is located. You will be very glad you did.
A message from the master. If you are looking for that one-of-a-kind gift this year, come on in to Newsletter's Fine Jewelers. Let Richard draw your future present for somebody you love. This special engraving lasts a lifetime. At the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
When you pay for tree work, you want to be sure you're getting the most for your hard-earned money. That's why you should always use the ISA certified arborist at River City Tree Service in Baldwin, Missouri. Hi, I'm Steve with River City Tree Service, and we've been the go-to tree service since 2008. Tree removal, tree trimming, storm damage, deadwood removal, stump grinding, and more. Give River City Tree Service a call for all your tree service needs at 314-270-8071. That's 314-270-8071. River City Tree Service.
Do you know why right now is the absolute best time to book your new patio or deck with my friends at Outdoor Living? Aside from being the best in town, these guys are really smart. They pay attention to market conditions, and they've stocked up on patio and deck supplies, including steel, all before these tariffs kicked in. So while their competitors' pricing has gone through the roof, prices have never been better at Outdoor Living. Now is the best time to call and book your summer job. Not to mention, these same competitors have sold out to large conglomerates and hedge funds. Pat Leahy and his team remain locally owned and operated, providing the best pricing and the best service in town. So, looking for a new deck or a new fence or anything outdoor? Outdoor Living, 314-966-DECK. That's 314-966-DECK. Or check them out online, Outdoor Living Inc., or check out their great showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newsletter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
What a fun show today.
Yeah. Somebody with a great suggestion. Love Colbert. Hope he gets picked up by cable streaming. I think he would just be perfect on MSNBC. I mean, he obviously has an appetite for politics, and that's the politics he could excel at, and he has a big audience. That is the move for him. There's no doubt about it.
From the 314, Colbert will land on his feet. He's so quick-witted. Somebody else saying Colbert is our Fox News. Somebody else saying it's just lazy writers not coming up with more interesting things that people actually want to talk about. So all good stuff. Tomorrow, really good show. Jeff Zufall in to talk. Some of you texted in yesterday when we were talking about tariffs and said, Frank and Jill, you guys know what you were talking about. Please bring in an expert that can tell us what we're going to see when it comes to consumer prices and how the stock market seems to have changed its mind and doesn't mind tariffs at all, setting records and having a very high performance. So we'll bring somebody in who does this for a living to get us some of those insights. Jeff's always a great interview, and will give it to us straight for sure. And then, of course, as we mentioned, we've got Rack House coming in. You're going to love hearing about what it is they do so differently than everybody else in town. Very interesting story. What you got coming on TV and on Press Box today?
So on the Press Box, it's Andy Strickland and Charles Toon Edwards. They are backed by popular demand, mostly their own. And we're also going to head to the ballpark because we think this could be an eventful day. I just talked with a Cardinal executive. Nothing as of now. It's really weird. You had this deadline. It's almost like it's when you're kind of a bad student in high school and you had that term paper that you know it's going to be due for a month and you don't do it till the night before. That's what the trade deadline is like in many cases. Now, there have been some trades, but it's seeming like if it's at 5 o'clock, then the moves are made like at 4 o'clock. I mean, why couldn't you make the moves today 24 hours before?
Yeah, I mean, I know all this because I have seen Moneyball, so that practically makes me an expert on this whole thing. So I'm glad that you can get caught up with me on that. But no, I'm excited to hear what happens, and we might have a little more insight on that tomorrow if there's something interesting that happens for sure.
I am headed to Nathaniel Reed to pick up a little lunch for my daughter Brooke, who's ever so close to having that baby. In fact, we were a little worried because Monique got on the plane and there was something going on yesterday, and we prayed about it. So no baby yet, because Monique definitely wants to be here when the little Kennedy is born, hopefully.
Yes, very, very special. What's the mother-to-be's Nathaniel Reed order? Because get it right.
Oh, yeah. She said prosciutto.
Okay, good. Because it's been a long time, but I can remember clearly I had very distinct likes and dislikes, especially.
Anything really weird, by the way?
I didn't have anything super weird, other than I couldn't get enough mashed potatoes. I could have eaten mashed potatoes probably every day of both kids' pregnancies for sure. But there were certain things that I definitely did not enjoy eating. Many of them would have been healthy and good for me for sure. Carney Show up next. Make sure that you tune in for that along with Julie Buck and Max Foisey. And then later on, of course, Heidi, Josh, and Bob always have excellent programming during drive time. Keep your dial right here. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you in 22 hours, as our friend Frank likes to say.